Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
I want to break free. I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you. I've got to break free.
God knows, and everybody else knows. I just want to break free, and that is the sentiment of a lot of people around the world. Now, let's go ahead and do a little bit on some facts on I got from the CIA fact sheet on Bahrain. Okay, so it's 1.2 million people there, so it's just over a million, 1.25 million people. The age structure goes like this: 20% of the people are 14 years of age and younger. 77% are under 64 and between 15 and 64, and there's only 2.5% over 65 years of age. Their median age is 31 years of age. Now, that's like about 5-6 years per over what Egypt and Libya and a lot of these other countries are. So we have a little bit more mature population there, but 89% of the total population lives in what's considered an urban area. Well, it's like a big giant Manhattan anyway. So we have the news today is that what started this latest round, and you never know what really happens. I mean, what they say happened, what really happened don't mean nothing. But what they're saying is that there were 3 people that were killed. It's a relatively low number considering the gravity of the situation, but they're saying the first one killed was a police officer or someone in favor of the regime was shot by someone from the crowd. So then they opened fire to people, protesters were killed. Now, is that what really happened? I don't know, but once you start having death, there's always more. So I'm looking at when we have the fullness of time is going to bring about what? Now, we have Husain Abdulla on. Now, he's the director of Americans for Democracy and Human Rights in Bahrain, and you spend time in Washington, D.C., don't you? Aren't you talking to congressmen?
I do advocate for issues of human rights and democracy in the United States Congress.
Well, so the congressmen say what? They go, hey, man, go talk to the Navy? I mean, talk to Hillary? I mean, They don't care? What?
It's funny. You're saying it in an indirect way. I mean, they've been helpful a lot, to be fair to them. But since the situation escalated today and yesterday, I'm not getting any responses from them. They're acting like they don't even know me. They're not returning my emails or my phone calls. And I completely understand, because the word is that the administration basically taking care of the situation. And we know very well the foreign policy of this country is controlled by the administration, the executive branch. And Congress does not have that much influence on it.
Well, what is your opinion of what the administration's policy in Bahrain is? I mean, what do they want? They just want, hey, man, we don't care what you do. We just want our ships there. What?
They will do everything possible. That means even if so many people are killed, to protect Al Khalifa, because they believe Al Khalifa will serve our interest in Bahrain and in the region better than if there's a true democracy. And at the same time, they might, give you a bone here or there and tell you, well, you want some reform, and instead of 100% reform, we might give you 40% or 30%. And you should be very glad that you even got that. Don't even ask for anything more, because that's all what you're getting. And that basically tells us that, democracy is maybe for us here, but we believe that Middle Eastern don't deserve it. Or freedom is for us here, but Middle Eastern don't deserve it. And I think that is just a disgusting double standard that needs to be stopped, and let the people themselves decide. It's not like the people of Bahrain are asking the United States to come and free them, like we did in Iraq or something, or what we're doing in Afghanistan. No, they're saying just leave us alone. We will take care of our own problem. We will discuss it with the rulers of Bahrain, and if we want them, we'll keep them. And if we don't want them, we'll get rid of them.
Now,
And I think we are so much in relation with Al Khalifa that we're just not going to let them go easily.
well, this one thing that is of interest to me is a lot of the people are wearing white. It's symbolizing that they are ready to die as martyrs. And do you really think that is? I mean, this is it. When we leave the square, it's free or dead. One or the other, live free or die attitude. Is it really that serious?
Yes. As I told you, I've never seen my countrymen acting this way. I don't know where this bravery came from, but it did come from somewhere. And it is either give me death or give me liberty. That's basically what's taking place in Bahrain. And I expect that we're going to see much more casualties. But in the end, the question is who's going to win? And I'm going to be on the side of the people because that's what history teaches.
Will democracy bring about what you want? I mean, let's think about it. When you say democracy in Bahrain, how do you define that? What is it you mean?
I mean by democracy, it's a simple term. I mean majority rule with respect to minority right, where a majority can rule the country, decide what the fate of the country will be and how they want to rule it. However, they cannot discriminate or violate the rights of the minority.
So it's kind of like a constitutional republic kind of thing.
Or a liberal democracy.
Well, I'm just wondering. You come up with a government system that works. You let me know, man. We tried it. It hasn't worked out that good.
Well, I mean, when you have an experiment, and we did not try it, so let's try it in Bahrain and see what the results will be.
Well, what do you think it is that they would structure themselves as? Do you have a preference? Are they advocating a preference? Do they want a parliament? Do they want, a two-house Congress? Do they want, executive, judicial? Or are they, how do they want to do this?
They are advocating for parliamentary rule, parliamentary democracy.
Okay, then that gives voice to a lot of fractional representations of different points of interest, but how many are there? Is there one main? Are there 5 different ones? Is there, Save the Whales Party? I mean, tell us how it breaks out.
Yeah, well, you have major 8 to 10 political groups in Bahrain. They have different objectives. Some of them, for example, are more liberal than the other or more progressive than the other. Some of them focus on more economic issues than political issues. So some of them have an ideology, like they're nationalist, or they're more into labor movement, or they're leftist, or maybe they're conservative, maybe they're more religious. So you have different groups with different agenda. Right now, what they unite on is they want freedom for Bahrain. They want democracy. They want free and fair elections. They want to live under no fear from a brutal dictator.
Yeah, that election thing, that hasn't worked out well for us either. I don't trust government counting. Man, I just, so I'm looking to see a lot of these changes around the Middle East. They may come up with, something that maybe even I could support, but we'll see. If I had to vote between whatever type of government and none, none's getting my vote so far. So I'm looking at the future where you have some kind of a mechanism and simple things like we have one of the princes in Saudi Arabia coming out, okay, maybe we can let women drive. And I'm going, wow, they're still not driving? So are women driving in Bahrain?
Yes, of course. No, Bahrain is a completely different story. Bahrain is a very progressive society where you have a complete opposite society from Saudi Arabia. There is no enforcement of a dress code or any enforcement of any religion. You have the Jews, you have the Hindus, you have the Christians. All of them have their own worship places, and they worship freely in the country.
So what is the opposition primarily focused on? Is that,
political rights, democratic rights.
Well, I mean, but how does it manifest itself? Are people poor? Are people oppressed? Are people, any dissent is squashed like a bug? What?
Yes, they are a threat, and as I told you, torture is used heavily against political prisoners.
Husain Abdulla, director in Washington, D.C., meeting with congressmen, wanting to get their help. And now they're giving the cold shoulder as violence breaks out in Bahrain as United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia soldiers go in to protect, the Fifth Fleet that happens to be stationed there. Man, entangling alliances while we're entangled in Bahrain. Husain Abdulla, thanks for coming on and helping us understand what's going on, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.